heart and the soul. So that's darkness. And a fear of success is a fear of the light. You know, is it going to be too bright for me?
Yeah.
You know, am I going to be cowering under all the attention? So, and the other one is something that's deeper, that the failure is deeper.
Yes. But the feeling's the same, isn't it? Whether it's failure or success, it's still that concern. Can I handle this?
Yes.
What if it fails? How will I deal with that? What if it's a success? How will I deal with that? So there is this confidence that you enable them to have, or to grow, or to develop, that no matter what happens, I'm going to be able to deal with it.
See, fear of failure usually comes from a sense of belonging. They've had a yearning to belong, and they think that if they fail, they'll no longer belong. No one will want them because they failed.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the fear of success is, well, I'll lose all my friends because now I'm successful. Or I won't be able to spend as much time with my family because I'm too successful, or whatever it is, all these other things. I know I've had to work through that on myself. So I think probably the problem is not having the confidence to go about doing what you want to do, not having that freedom of choice, if you like, because they are holding themselves back, worried about the future, worried about failure, worried about success. And having the confidence to say, do you know what? Not only do I want it, but I'm actually going to go and get it. I'm going to do it. And it's like almost, it's funny, I watched it the other day. There's a lovely video of a Shetland pony inside their stable, and it's snowing. And I thought of you at the time because you and horses, of course. And he wants to go out, but he won't. And he gets to the edge and he sort of pulls back each time. And he almost falls out and pulls himself back each time because it's snowing, you know. So there's this fear, and then eventually he goes and he stumbles out and off he goes. But it's a little bit like that with Angela. She's at the point where she's like, oh, I want to do it, but I can't. And I can't do it on my own. And she probably has, as you've said in there, you know, she's been beating herself up a little bit. Oh, I'm being so stupid, I should just go and do this. But it's that little, it's not a nudge. It's something that you're going to give them internally that's going to enable them to go, do you know what? It's going to freak me out, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah. Actually, after I did that avatar, I realised that Angie Jones is one of my clients at the retreat.
Ah, well, there you go.
And she's just done a brilliant video. She did a brilliant video that I edited yesterday too. And I didn't think about it until this morning. I went, oh, okay.
Yeah. So the big thing, as we know, your problem that you solve is fear. And that's why it's fearlessly free. It's fear of the unknown, fear of all these other things that might happen. That's stopping you from actually being who you were born to be, to go out there and do what you want to do. So that's the big thing at the bottom of it. And it leads to, you know, self-sabotage, suppression, you know, depression, tiredness, all these other things that you get because you're being so fearful of being who you really are, that gap, that feeling like something's missing and so on.
Well, that is the core.
Yeah, that's at the core, is their fear. So that's the problem that you solve, is being afraid to be the best you, to be living the life you should be living, to do the things you want to do, whether that's lose weight, find the ideal partner, get a better job, you know, to have more holidays, whatever it is, you know, completely up to you. But you're afraid of something. You're afraid of life. You're afraid of yourself. You're afraid of stepping out and doing it. And that's why we're here, to help you be fearlessly free. So then you slip across into East, which is execution. And this is your how. And this is so easy for you because you have all of the different modalities that you use, the expertise that you have, you know, all those different areas, and your program. And we talked about that last time, I think. Didn't we talk about a 6-step or an 8-step program or something?
Yeah, yes, the signature program.
The signature program, yeah. So this is
and it was all around that. Yeah, it was all around the values.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. And each of those values takes you through the process of not necessarily overcoming your fear, but identifying it and being able to work out, how am I going to deal with this? And you're enabling people and empowering them, rather than saying, I'm going to fix you and here's a pill to take. This is about giving them the tools and the techniques and the strategies and everything else so they can do it for themselves. So that's relatively easy. This is the signature system that we use, takes you through these processes, includes all of these modalities and so on. But if we then get into South, which is simply just draw a line through it to turn it into a dollar sign, South is all about the value that you deliver. So above and beyond what people pay you to do, how does this transform their lives? How does this change their lives from living in fear and suppressing where they really should be and what they should be doing and what they've always wanted to do, into living fearlessly free? How does that look, Leanne, when someone lives fearlessly free? What's the transformation that takes place?
Oh, you're asking me? Sorry.
I am asking you.
Oh, sorry.
Right.
Well, they feel that they can go out and do whatever they want. The feeling that they had before disappears or dissipates, and they don't even know, can't even recognize the person that felt that.
That's nice.
You know, that's why we did do before and after videos, because they can't even remember. It's we have to prove to them that they were actually the way they were.
Wow. Amazing.
Just within 3 days.
Yeah, fabulous. So what are some of the words that they use when they talk to you about how they feel about that transformation?
Oh, liberated is the main word that comes up.
That works with freedom, doesn't it? Liberated, free.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm free of all those doubts and fears and worries and all the rest of it. And what does it do to their lives? What sort of things happen to them when all of a sudden they've gone through the signature system and process? What changes in their life?
They make changes in the way that they wanted to. And I ask them for that commitment before they leave the retreat. So I say, what is the first thing? I want you to tell me what the first thing is. What's the first major change you're going to do? And they all do it, because they sign a commitment that they're going to do it.
What sort of things are those that these people are doing?
One lady, she married her husband at 18, no children. Her whole life was her husband. She'd never had any family here. She's an immigrant. And he died she nursed him with throat cancer, and he died, and she didn't have anything at all. And I said, well, okay, just throw it out there. What's the first thing you're going to do when you leave here? And she said, I'm going to go and swim with a giant jellyfish in Palau.
Wow.
I went, okay, that's different, but you go for it.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing she did. Yeah. And since then, she's gone back and studied, and now she's a Feldenkrais therapist. She's remarried, and she's traveled the world.
Brilliant.
Another lady she told me she was suicidal after she came to the retreat, and she came to the second retreat. And she was very, very successful business, her and her husband. And but it was a very male industry. She was the only woman in the business, in the office, doing it all on her own with all these men. It was earth moving and contracting. And her husband's dyslexic, so that made it worse. So and he's a control freak. And so she just was, and all she wanted to do was be an art therapist.
Wow.
And do her art. So, and she had twin 12-year-old daughters who she just couldn't relate to. And she had a car accident, and she hurt her coccyx, and she was in a lot of pain anyway. And she saw I just put a flyer up at the ballet studio because my daughter was doing ballet, and I didn't know her daughters did ballet, and she saw the flyer. So she just rang up and booked in, paid full, said, I'm coming. And later on, she just said it was just my last effort before I wanted to end my life.
Wow.
And anyway, straight after the retreat, she went and first week she went and hired 4 staff for her office. They didn't all work out, but she said, it's okay. She said, I was out of the office. That's all I cared about.
Yeah.
And now she's gone back and she's finished studying art therapy. She now has a therapy business in town, owns the whole building that she's in. And she does art therapy classes for to build confidence for women.
Brilliant.
And she had an exhibition last year, and she sold within a week $25,000 worth of her art.
Nice.
And she said even her husband was treating her better because he had more respect for her, because she was following her own dream.
Yeah, brilliant. Oh, that's nice. Follow your own dream.
Yeah, well, that was one of the things these girls said, that she said not getting out of life what they want or that they once dreamed of, because they've so squashed.
Yeah.
The dreams have even gone.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So that's nice. Basically, you get to live. You get to make decisions, fresh start, travel, adventures, self-development, new relationships, whatever it is you want in your life. The transformation is that you get to live.
Yeah, because you're no longer bogged down for stuff. I had a cancer survivor come along, and she said, I've been trying to build a house for 2 years. She finished it within 3 months of leaving the retreat.
Wow. Yeah.
Because she had clear space in her head to do it.
Yeah, all these things that were holding you back.
Yeah.
Very nice. So that transformation really is quite, everyone has a different transformation, but the key component of it is that they get to choose. And all of a sudden they're able to make these decisions for themselves and say, I want this, I'm going to go and do it. And there's far less hesitation because they know that it's what they want to do. Whether it works out or not, they're going to do it.
Well, yeah, they don't hold back. They go for it regardless of the outcome, because there's no fear holding them back. They know they've gone into their subconscious mind and they've got the life learnings that they needed to get. And those life learnings are from a time when, before anything happened to them.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Before anything changed for them.
Yeah.
So they emerge as that person.
Yeah. And I think I've written down here, like a fresh start. It almost is a rebirth, that whole idea of that liberation.
Actually, that's one of the words that at the end of that video with the trio, I say, in one word, what would you use to describe how you feel now? And Margaret said, reborn.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, awesome. So let's now go to your true north at the top, which is your passion and your purpose, your reason why. So what makes you so passionate about this, Leanne? Why is this so important to you that you do this? Because, look, you could go and do lots of other things as well, but why have you decided that this is what you want to be doing?
Because I've seen the struggle and the pain of women who had no help.
Yeah. Well, you've been there yourself, haven't you?
And I've been there myself. And the consequences of that from a very young age, when my best friend's mother shot him and his two brothers, and then shot herself. Yeah. So, and she wanted to make something of herself because she had, in a farming community, her husband had the Palomino stud, and she wanted to raise pigs. She wanted to do the pigs. She had a passion for pigs, and that was going to be her sideline. Yeah. And she was trying to follow her own dream, but it just wasn't happening. And it's like my sister. My sister wanted a sideline, and she had the cows. Yeah. She wanted to bring. She was the first one to bring blonde Aquitaine cattle to Australia, and she won all these shows and all the awards, and in the Brisbane exhibition champion numerous times. But there was still an element of her life that was unhappy. She didn't have complete happiness, and she got breast cancer. So
absolutely,
she didn't nurture herself along the way.
Yeah. So it is this death of dreams, really, isn't it? That you keep seeing and noticing and experiencing this, and all these amazing women who have these dreams and they never come to fulfillment. They never come to fruition.
Yeah, it comes. Yeah, it's really from witnessing the struggle and the pain and the consequences of not doing anything about it.
Yeah. That whole I'll just put up with it. It's just my lot in life. This is the way it's supposed to be.
And witnessing women who have not been supported.
Yeah.
They've been lonely and unsupported.
Haven't been supported to go for their dreams?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mainly because they're women, really.
Yeah.
You know, because we've got a long way to go, women.
Absolutely.
Still.
Yep. So if there was a cause that you could say, right, I'm going to stand up and be the champion of this cause. If I could stop this from happening, I will do everything, and this will be my legacy. What would that be that you would want to stand up and say? What are you seeing that's happening either in the coaching industry or just in the world itself that you would like to be able to fix, to say, I had an impact on this?
I think not to just put everyone in the one box. Do you know?
Yeah.
And be quick to put a label on the box.
That works really well for that whole idea of there's nothing wrong with you. Remember we talked about not having any, you don't have a syndrome. There's no, that's just a label.
And I think along with that is something that I put in my list of things that I would not do is I would not ever not see the person in front of me.
Nice.
Not see who that person actually has been, what she's felt, what she's been through. And that's why I also do the face reading.
Yeah, absolutely. Because
I can see what's actually happened in your life. You don't even have to tell me.
And do you feel that that's a big thing that annoys you with the coaching industry as well? The life coach, that people do tend to, oh, you're this type of person, therefore I'm going to, counsel you a certain way?
Well, I think that you have to have awareness of your personality type, like we do the personality types and everything. I think you have to have awareness around that, but I don't think that that's just your groove, because everyone has a little bit of everything in them.
Yes. And
you are predominantly one or secondary two, but then that's just one way of looking at it. There's so many different personality tests out there. Do you know? There's Myers-Briggs, there's DISC, there's this one here that you've got. You know, who's right, who's wrong? There's so many different ones. They're only a guide.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny, isn't it? I think a lot of people do you think they do those tests in order to find out what they are? And in reality, it's just a guide, isn't it? It's just you need deeper than that to really work out who you are.
Yeah. And some people, some women will change after they've had creatrix.
Yeah.
They've actually emerged a different person.
Like that, emerge. GE. And what is it that really annoys you? What really pisses you off that you would like to change, that you would just go out there and go, do you know what? If I could get rid of this, I would like to remove that from the entirety, wipe it off the face of the planet. What would it be?
I think, that's a hard question, but I think people's lack of tolerance annoys me.
That's nice.
Do you know, people are very quick to judge without knowing the full picture. And my son actually had an incident a couple of weeks ago, and that actually could have ended his life because he wanted to. He told me this week he wanted to actually commit suicide because of the actions of this one person.
Yeah.
It was enough. And this person is a barrister. It was just enough to tip him over the edge. And you don't know what other people's situations are. You just don't.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He was very, very vulnerable, my son. And this guy basically assaulted him.
It is that whole thing, isn't it, about people's expectations of who you are, what you're capable of. You know, as you say, that they put you in a box or they give you a label, and they're quick to do it.
I know, and it's becoming more so because it's becoming a fast world.
Yeah.
It's a fast and furious world, and they just line you up and go next, 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 yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, before you even had a chance to say 10 words.
Yeah.
And I think there's a movie that actually says it all, and it's just a Hollywood little film, The Intern. Have you seen that?
I have seen it. Yeah.
Where he goes in.
Is it Robert De Niro?
Yeah, Robert De Niro, and they just think he's an old, has been and not good for anything, and they just put him in the filing.
Yeah, he ends up fixing everybody, doesn't he?
Yeah, because he used to be the CEO of the company that was in that building.
Yeah, so he becomes a mentor to everyone. It's just amazing. Yeah,
and I have actually been victim of that when I said I went back to Virgin, because I am more than double a lot of the young girls' age.
Yeah, this assumption.
It's an assumption. I've had things taken out of my hand because they don't think that I can handle it, and yet I was flying before they were even born.
Yeah, love it.
It's just
okay. Awesome. I love it. Tolerance. It's such an important word to make sure that tolerance is in there. And you're right. Fast, furious, quick to make decisions. Very damaging sort of situation where people, make those quick judgments.
Well, it sets people up to fail because it's rejection, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think rejection without an opportunity. There's so many people rejected without an opportunity to actually say, well, hey, I can do that. Hey, I am worthy. I am capable.
Yep. And that's what leads to missed opportunities and people then pulling back into that box and believing what somebody says. I love
it. It incites fear.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the not seeing the whole person. And I think you said before, one of the things you'll never do is not see you and see the whole. It's a little bit like that image of the iceberg, that you're only seeing a small part of the big picture.
I think that the "Are you okay" movement too bothers me a little bit, because people will go, "Are you okay?" and to the person that's wearing the mask, they'll go, "Sure, I'm fine."
Yeah. Okay. End of conversation. That's it.
Yeah, and then go, "Oh, well, that's good." But unless you actually look into the eyes of that person and say, "No, really, are you okay?"
Yeah.
And just lower your tone and actually see them. And they go, well, actually, I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so where, the Are You Okay movement, while it's really good with its intention, it's not fully hitting the ball out of the park for me because of that reason.
Yeah. It's just the start, really, isn't it? Excuse me. It's just a start to get people at least asking the question.
Yes.
But as you say, it doesn't dig deep enough into that. I need to give you space. I need to be tolerant. I need to be patient, and I think maybe, I think we've got a long way to go, Leanne, in terms of having those difficult conversations with people. People don't know what to say, which is awesome because it means that we need people like you. Otherwise,
well, as I said to my son the other day, life's full of peaks and troughs, and it's the troughs that make you the better, bigger, deeper, more compassionate person.
Absolutely.
If you were a young guy that was just, sailing through life, you would see someone else over there and go, that's not doing so well. You'd go, oh, what's wrong with him? But now you will see him and go and put your arm around him and go, pull him in and say, tell me the problem, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. was it Eleanor Roosevelt who said that thing about, find out how tough a woman is? She's like a tea bag. You put her into boiling water and she just gets stronger.
No, I
think it was something along those lines. But that's right.
I do like that.
It's nice, isn't it? We're like tea bags. It's not until we're put into a really hot water situation where we become the strongest. So, and the longer we can withhold and withstand it, the stronger we get. So,
I think that actually that is what I'm passionate about, is people not understanding how strong women are.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that is my, yes, you just hit my core then.
Yeah, good.
People, the woman being brushed aside as just the woman.
Yeah.
When in actual fact, oh, now you're getting me riled up. When actually fact, she's the center of the whole circle of life around her. It's like it all happens in the kitchen. Well, who's in the kitchen? The woman. If she doesn't put her own oxygen mask on first, the whole bloody thing falls over, doesn't it? Everyone dies.
Absolutely.
Now you're getting me. That's what I think is women that get overlooked.
Yeah.
It's just people people underestimate the strength of a woman.
Oh, that's nice. Including women themselves, and this is the big issue, isn't it? Is that you don't know what you're capable of being. And I think you're of that lovely situation, similar to I am, looking from the outside in on businesses. You're able to look from the outside in at these women and just see what their potential is, how capable they are, if they could just get rid of that fear and step up and have the confidence to do what they want to do. Yeah.
And I think, when that form about when are you at your best, and I think it's at the retreats when I'm having that sister-to-sister moment and building that camaraderie and really helping them and I have an opportunity to actually nourish them.
Yes.
With mind, body and soul.
Yeah.
That's what really presses my buttons.
Yeah.
Where I have the opportunity to put them in a yoga class and do reflexology on them and give them organic home cooked meals and do all that. And and all of them, you can just see it, they just go, thank God someone cares.
Nice.
Do you know?
Do you do a capability style exercise with them? So, for example, I can't remember, I've done it a couple times where you write down what I'm not good at and then what I'm good at. And then you do the exercise and you get to do it again. Yeah. I'm just wondering whether that might even be a great lead generator for you, is how capable are you really? How actually capable are you? And you go through a questionnaire, and at the end it comes out that, you're stronger than you think, that you can achieve these things. Here's some areas where you answered where you're not sure of yourself, and this is what we can work on. And it might just, highlight those points for them.
Yeah. I actually have a book that's on my website called The Secrets to Self-Confidence.
Brilliant.
And in that is a section on one of the tips was to write down everything that you're good at.
You're good at. Brilliant. So what I'm thinking is that potentially you do like a quiz type thing. How capable are you really? And it gets them to the point they go, do you know what? I've got all these dreams. I have wanted to do this. I can do this. And then the outcome of it is that they get to download your book. So you do the quiz for free. And then the book is so in order to go ahead and do these things, I've got the book called The Secret to Being Confident, or whatever. What was the title of it again, Leanne?
I think it's the secrets. The 10 hidden secrets to self-confidence.
Brilliant. So what you do is you say it's $7 and you put your email in here and we'll send it to you. So it's that little wee upsell into a solution that you provide. So they've done the free quiz and they go, right, I want this now. Put in your email, download the book, and it's got the information in there that they can go and do. So can you see how that becomes a step-by-step process?
Yeah, I do. So
you're taking just that one little aspect out of the book and turning that into the quiz, the capability side of things.
Yeah. I did another little ebook through the week about mindset for emotional resilience.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And there's no reason why you can't do a book package that they get, for $7. They get to download all 3 of these and just have them as a PDF with a link that when they've paid for it, they then get it delivered to their inbox. Click this link and they go and get hold of them. So pretty straightforward. I mean, you can put them up as an ebook on a Kindle or whatever you wanted to, but just a PDF for them to download.
I'll just put a funnel in ClickFunnels.
Yeah, absolutely. Simple.
Yeah.
Cool.
And maybe after that I can put the consult on the other end.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's that little here's another solution that makes them then experience, oh my goodness, this book is fantastic. Imagine what it would be like if I had a session with Leanne. So now I'll book some time with you. So it's that little progression through. And in the ebooks that you've created, you should be putting in there that link to book a call with you.
Yeah.
So yeah, brilliant. Okay, I think I have just about everything that I need, gorgeous. My next step is to start writing your creative brief. I will send you the link to complete the True North form and the notes from what I took today to help you with that. You've got the rest of your homework as well to keep working on. So that means that as soon as I get that back from you, I'll start anyway, but there'll be a few gaps that I'll need a few bits from you, but I'll just let you know exactly what those are.
So I've got to do the hero story. Do you need that?
Yep.
So is that just my life story and what I got out of it? Is it in your
it's not in my book, it's in the annex book. Hang on a second, let me just grab it from behind me. How to get in the Media Magnet Method, her book in here, Hero Story. And we actually did a recording of this in our program, Business Bestie. Where is Hero Story? Just trying to think. I think there's actually a workbook on Hero Story that I can probably send to you that'll help you with that.
Just to give me an outline on it.
Hero Story, what makes a good story? Yep, absolutely. Cool. So I will send you the Hero Story workbook so that you can get cracking on that as well. So it is telling a story, but it's more than your life story. It's like, how Oprah says there's all these different threads throughout your life and they all pull together. It's more about hooking up. Like, for example, when you talked about growing up on the farm and your mum not being able to drive and that how, you felt like you were locked up basically and you yearned for freedom. That's a vital part of your history that comes, and it makes sense when you read about why you're so passionate about being fearlessly free and women having these missed opportunities and being overlooked or being expected that they're not capable of this and they are. So that all comes together beautifully. So all of those little things that have happened to you that lead to this fearlessly free story and why it's so important. Does that make sense? Yeah, cool. Awesome.
And then I've got the canvas sheet.
Yes.
And the psychographic and the demographic splits.
Yep, brilliant. So the only other thing we probably need to look at, and I'll send you an email so you know what you're doing, is probably just some images and maybe logos and colours that you really like. So this is looking at what we're going to be doing in terms of rebranding Fearlessly Free and what we're going to include in that. So I've got my own ideas as well of some things already that have come to me. I don't know why it is, but wings and feathers seem to come to me a lot when we talk about these sorts of things. Really being free to fly, that whole sense of liberation, almost sprouting new wings, this rebirth, and being able to take flight, excuse me, and do whatever you want to do. So,
well, it's funny that you should say that because do you want to get a drink of water?
No, I'm all right. I'll be fine. I've had a creaky throat all morning.
I did. One of the reasons why I haven't sort of revealed that I do part-time flying is because I didn't want people to be distracted by that.
Yep.
To not think that I wasn't capable because I went and served tea and coffee in another life. And so I kind of kept that to myself, even though we're highly trained safety, experts.
You do far more than serve tea and coffee. Far more. And I think
Yes.
hold on to that feeling, because I think that's a big part of your hero story. Because I always wanted to be a stewardess. That's what they called them when I was a kid. I wanted to be an air hostess. I loved the idea of travel. I just wanted to go and do that. And my mum put me off and said, you've got asthma and you're too short. They won't take you. So I didn't even try. I didn't even try. And I'm sure I would have loved it, because I love travel.
If you went to Virgin now, they'd still take you. Because they actually, after I got in, they started to employ a lot of people in their 50s.
Yeah. So the thing is that capability, trolley dollies, that whole thing, that label that people who do that work have been labelled with, when you look at the fact that you are looking after hundreds of people, you are managing productivity, safety, entertainment, all those sorts of things. Oh my God, the skill set that you need to be able to deal with that. And I know, because one of our other clients, Katrina Worm, has worked for Qantas, and her husband, unfortunately, they've just been laid off. And she is a trainer at Qantas as well. And she specifically trains in not disaster management, what would you call it? Like emergency training, and how to
emergency. She's in
There you go. So, a huge amount of stress and pressure and so on that's on you.
It is. And yes, we have to sit exams twice a year. And if we don't pass, we don't fly.
Yeah.
I sat one 2 weeks ago. And it's the annual emergency procedures day that's really stressful, when you have to operate the doors, do the commands as if you're actually evacuating an aircraft.
Yeah.
It is very stressful.
Yeah.
Fight fires, handle hijackers, anything that there is, dangerous goods.
Yeah.
The list is endless.
So I don't think the industry has helped with the labelling of stewards and stewardesses that work on planes. I think that, it used to be something that was only there for the very rich to be able to do. And the hostesses were dressed up beautifully, short skirts, all the rest of it. That whole thing's been set up by the industry to be that way. But I think now, let's get real with this. These are people who are looking at taking care of your life. You're flying hundreds of thousands of feet above the ground, and there's so many risks involved, and yet you're almost oblivious to it while you're sitting in your comfortable chair watching movies and eating whatever food is brought to you, so... Yeah,
we kind of have a joke, if you get a rude customer, we just think to ourselves, and you'll be last to get out.
Yeah, exactly. If the plane is burning, you'll be right at the back there. So
you can follow me.
Yeah, exactly. Hold my bag, exactly. So I do think that's definitely part of your story, and the way that even saying, I've always been afraid of telling people this is part of my life, of what I've done, because of the way that we're labelled. And our capabilities.
And apart from that, and I also didn't want to tell them, because I think, well, what is she? Is she that, or is she that? Do you know? I just didn't want to make mixed messages.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. But if we can tie it in with your brand, that you're talking about being fearlessly free to do what you want to do. And if I have to go back and work to support my family, then that's what I'm going to do. This is my expertise, and I'm not going to feel upset about that. I'm not going to feel ashamed about that. I did what I had to do. I'm cutting myself free of all your expectations. This is my life. This is the way it is.
And sometimes I get a passenger who I know is looking down their nose, particularly a woman, at me, and I just look at her and I just think, if you only knew
exactly
how I could actually change your life. And put a smile on your face instead of that scowl.
Well, again, that comes back to that seeing the whole person. If you only knew what was going on in my life. So absolutely. I think there's a beautiful story in here around taking control of your own destiny and deciding that I'm not going to live by other people's expectations. I am what I am, and I might do that for a living, and I've had years of experience doing it, and I've enjoyed doing it, but this is my passion. And the way that I change people. I take care of people's lives on a plane, and I take care of people's lives in what I'm doing with Fearlessly Free as well. I'm doing the same
Yeah.
thing, just one of them I'm flying and the other one I'm helping people fly.
Yes.
It's quite nice.
Yeah, I actually had thought, should I ever tie this in about, flying and wings and everything? And then I thought, well, it's just my play job on the side, and I get to go and sit on the beach in Bali for, a couple of days a month. It was sweet. I don't know whether that's ever going to come back with
Where we
COVID.
can eventually go. I know, it's a shame, isn't it? No, that's awesome. Well, there you go. And I hadn't really thought about it from the fact that you have this other career as well. It never really occurred to me, but I kept seeing this fearlessly free, this free to do what you want to do and to go where you want to go. And it just seems to tie in beautifully. So we'll keep playing with that one as well.
Yeah. Well, my colours are the blue, the orange, and the pink.
Yep.
But, I'm open to change. I've always liked that aqua blue. It's so fresh and calming and beautiful. And the orange is really, I liked the orange because it was social communication and the colour of extrovert, getting out there and doing it.
Yeah.
And orange and blue are actually opposite colours, but they complement.
Yeah, they do.
And the pink was for the female.
Yeah, brilliant.
So
do you have the actual Pantone colours or hex colours for those colours of your brand?
Well, it was what's her name? Jeannie Trelaw.
Oh, yes.
That did the original. And she didn't give me, how it's the hashtag colours now?
Yeah, the hex colours.
Yeah, she didn't give me that. When she gave me the colours, she just gave me the HO138, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
The old
okay.
codes.
There's RGB and CMYK that we need as well. So, but if you can send those through to me at some stage, I'll make a note because I can convert them into hex colours anyway. So that's easy.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So,
brilliant.
I'm excited.
I'll have a look at those. Yeah, I do as well. I like the lighter blue colour because it is the blue of the sky. It's the sky's the limit, and it's a very uplifting sort of a colour as well.
Yeah.
Right. Orange is energy and taking action and going for it and energetically, it's a great colour.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just like when I had the Winona Grit branding, they did have the yellow and the orange and the blue and the green and everything and I thought those colours are really beautiful. And the interlocking circles made stars, which I liked.
Yes.
So I just took some of the colours from there when I went and did the Fearlessly Free women because it was, it looked nice.
Yeah, nice. Awesome. Okay, great stuff, lovely. Thank you for that. I've got my notes in front of me. I'll send you an email so you've got everything.
Yeah, exciting.
Brilliant. Can't wait to chat with you again soon, but I'll send you an email first and we'll catch up again next week maybe. Yeah. And brilliant. I'll get cracking on this. Fabulous. Thanks, Leanne. And thank you for your patience with all the Zooming and stuff. No, that's okay. I've been meaning to ask you, what's Kiki doing now? She's here, actually. She's just been to the gym. She's been working out. She's doing bodybuilding at the moment. So she's quite fit and healthy and doing all sorts of fun stuff. But no, she works a bit for us. She does the weekly rocket and a bit of my admin. But she's also writing blogs for people and she's got a couple of clients, which is great. So, she's keeping busy. Wow. Yeah. Awesome. No, she's awesome. And she was supposed to be in Spain. She was going to go and spend a bit of time with her dad and have a bit of a summer break over there. But of course, no one's going anywhere, which is a shame. So maybe next year. Okay. All right. Awesome, gorgeous. Take care. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye. Bye.